Hey y'all, it's Colin from the Life of Logos podcast. Coming to you today, rolling solo. I actually know where Ken's at, but you know what? We'll catch up more with him later. A couple episodes ago, we talked about the 7 deadly sins, parts 1 and 2. In essence, in those videos, we broke down these concepts of how the 7 deadly sins are actually what we will refer to as spirits. Spirits being defined as the communal mindsets or characteristics that drive human behavior. Not to be confused with some boogity boogity boo, like there's a ghost in the closet type of thing. Not quite that. However, there is a communal sense of greed, of lust, of wrath that transcends all of human experience. We all have it. We all deal with it. Therefore, it is not necessarily something that is separate from humanity, but a thread that runs through all of humanity, if that makes sense. Putting that a little bit more justly, these spirits are things that we all have, things we all deal with, things we all are going to deal with. And ultimately, if that be the case, those are also things that we cannot hope to get rid of. Though we can begin to use our own disciplines, our spirituality, our religion to be able to control those things so they do not grow out of check. I'll give you a great example. Lust, right? Lust within a committed relationship becomes a precursor for intimacy, physically. Saying that a different way, I would hope that if you are married to a person, then you want to be able to have sex with them. That should just make sense. The necessity for lust then justifies its purpose, if that makes sense. Again, you don't have to be attracted to your wife. You don't have to be attracted to your husband. But in that case, I would hope that you have a desire to be intimate physically with that person. In that particular case, lust is not bad. Taking that a step further, that would mean that all 7 of those spirits are things that can be justified within the proper context and limits. For example, I'll take another example, wrath. I don't think it's ever going to be appropriate to just go mass murdering people. I actually think in most cases war and violence should be avoided, if at all possible. However, if you are in a situation where someone has already expressed violence, and then you step into the position of aggression in order to defend yourself, then it is justifiable for you to express that wrath. The discipline and the wisdom, if you will, the discernment to be able to know when to live and act in those appetites and impulses is a gift of the Holy Spirit. It is the Holy Spirit that allows us to be able to check those things at a very appropriate and useful level. Which leads me into thinking about the Holy Spirit. So, we've talked about the 7 deadly sins, and we will continue to talk about them and how they have shown up not only in our society, but in our businesses and our lives, and how those things are impacting how we got to, truthfully, where we got to now. And I think even more importantly, we have to discuss the opposite. Now, by that, I don't mean the 7 heavenly virtues, and I don't think, personally, that those two things are necessarily a parity. Because those 7 heavenly virtues are things that are not necessarily innately a part of the human experience, if that makes sense. Chastity as an opposition to lust. I do not believe that chastity is necessarily I think it is a necessary element of societal sustainment. I do not think that it is a natural element of the human experience. Said that more concisely. You have to think about chastity. There has to be something acted to be unchastity. No one is passively chaste. It's not happening. Because we're hardwired for sexuality. We're hardwired for intimacy. So, in order to find those 7 heavenly virtues, we must be able to live for something that is greater than ourselves in our natural state. Another way to say that, you are living in the highest order of yourself. In the realm of higher order beings, if you will, the spirit of the highest order, I would define, this is the call-in definition, I would define that as these 3 elements. First of which is truth. Truth, not exclusive to saying that which is axiomatically proven, right? Not just the things that simply are, like this shirt is red. We all know that the shirt is red. Truth means justice. It means fairness. It means consistency. It's discipline. All of those things are encompassed in that which is true. That which is ultimately, axiomatically justifiable in the world. Telling things how it is. Being in touch with reality. Finding the ground truth. Treating people fairly. Taking responsibility for your life and taking accountability for your actions. Both of those make up that which is truth. 2, love. Love is, we're going to use the definition of the intentional action to put something at a greater priority than one's own existence, self-preservation, or ambition. Saying that again more concisely, if you love something, it has to be more important to you than survival. In a way, a mother loves their child and is willing to sacrifice their life for the child. The way that, I'm just sticking with biblical metaphors, the shepherd is willing to put himself in harm's way in order to save the sheep. There's something that is greater than your own comfort, survival, your ambitions, whatever. That is indicative, I'm not sure if that's even a word, that reveals that which you love. And to be clear about that, love is not the gift to the beloved, though it is oftentimes misconstrued as such. Love is not a gift for the person being loved. Love is the gift to those who are loving. Love is a gift to the lover. Because when you find something that you love, you find the desire to, one, be better than you are, to strive for something more, to give you something that can echo through eternity, something that is captivating and meaningful and gives your life purpose and drive, and gives you the resiliency to give and to carry on even when you feel that all of your resources have been exhausted. Love finds a way. 3, beauty. And again, I'm not talking about some smoke show that you see on a billboard. I will define beauty as the parts of human nature, that is my phone, the parts of human nature or the human experience that are healing to the human soul. That's beauty. Like the moment when you see a new sunrise and are reminded that there is hope for tomorrow. The time when you are embraced in your lover's arms and you have hope to continue on against the battle that is day-to-day life. The peace that comes after a long and hard work day when you know you've done something in the projection of your dreams. I believe that all 3 elements, truth, beauty, and love, are the means by which we are to experience freedom. And by living, I believe that telling the truth will get you to freedom. That loving will bring you to freedom. That beauty reminds you of freedom. And I believe that all 3 of these parts are, one, interconnected, And they all play off of one another. It is through truth that you will find beauty. It is through beauty that you are encouraged to pursue justice. And it is through love that we have a reason for both. And in that same vein, if that is the case, and this may be where I take a theological leap, so put your shoes on, we're going for it. What is more evident of the Spirit of truth than God the Father? What is more healing and renewing than the Holy Spirit? That is beauty. What is more loving than the man who did nothing wrong and yet paid for the sins of humanity? So in the pursuit of those three things, I think not that we find God, as God is far more complex and mysterious and deep than those three things. However, in the pursuit of those three things, truth, beauty, and love, we are able to understand God and find Him in a new and invigorating light. And that is the spirit of which we are trying to pursue, not only with this podcast, but with this business and every facet of this business. Because this dream that we are creating, to create this land that people can come to be in the presence of beauty, and something that stands and rested and built on the foundation of truth, so that people may be loved, is all that we are trying to pursue. That's the point of all of these businesses. That's the point of this podcast, and that's the 30-year plan. It's a life spent pursuing God. We'll talk more about testimonies and stuff, but that's another video. That's your thought for the day. My name is Colin. This is the Life of Logos podcast, and we will talk to you all soon.